Okay, is this better? Is this better? This is unusual. Oh, wow. That is, I don't know why you can't. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know why you couldn't hear me without me putting on my headset. That is so unusual, but I'm glad you can hear me now. Okay, good, Shay. Shay can hear me. Everyone can hear me. So uh, that's amazing. I was doing all of that talking and no one could hear me. And it's showing that I'm not muted. And I went in the background and I tested on StreamYard and the s- the speakers are working, the mic is working. So I don't know what that was about. That's interesting, a little bit troublesome, but interesting. So I'm glad you can hear. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Thank you guys for showing up. I hope you enjoyed the show. This is Vlog Media Breeze. If you are new to the show, please click the like, subscribe, and the notifications bell. And also, everything on this show is alleged, okay? And it is of my opinion. So we're talking about love and marriage Huntsville today. So, I hope you guys got to see it last night. It was really exciting. I named this segment, this is season 3, episode 3, and I named this segment Troublemaking Tiff Done Started a Tiff. Okay, because that's what she did. That's what she came here for. So let's get right into it. I'll start all over getting right into it. It starts out with Mel and Tish meeting at Mel's home. They're kind of mending the fences after they've decided to move forward in a positive direction concerning their relationship. And she has some drinks there, some wine, as Mel always does, gives you a glass of wine and some snacks when you come to her house. That's what we do in the South, okay? And so Tish is sitting there and she seems very happy to be there as well. I will say this, I think that Tish, even though she seems happy to be there, she also has a way about her that lets me believe that she's still jealous of Mel. She will go ahead and meet with Mel, but she still, holds some sort of resentment against Mel. But she's just meeting with her, of course, for the show and because they do have history together. So I digress on that. They start to talk, and Mel is telling her about how she's really enjoying her freedom. And we can see that in Mel. Mel looks so vibrant. She actually looks better single than she did married, if you ask me. And so they reminisce about how fun Mel used to be and how they used to meet up with the kids and everything. And so Mel asked Tish about her relationship with Marceau, and Tish says that COVID brought them closer together. And I'm glad to hear that COVID brought a lot of us closer together. At the same time, I'm still confused about, okay, what exactly is going on in Tisha's marriage other than the fact that Marceau is very controlling. So there must be some other things and there must be some truth to some information that's out there about them, you know? At the same time, I digress on that. So she says they have grown closer, so I'll buy that. Some of what they talk about as well is, Mel in her confessional says she doesn't want Tisha and Marceau to end up like Mel and Martell, which is, of course, they're now divorced. And she goes on and they talk a little more about Tish and Marceau, and Tish tells her that they have a cigar event coming up because, as we know, Black it's a cigar bar, and that Jalen is run by Jalen, who is Kimmy's son. So Tish uh, Mel actually, as they are speaking about Tish and Marceau, she highly recommends Dr. Francis. And you could see some reserve in Tisha's face, just slightly, because she goes on in her confessional to say, I'll consider it because I don't think you should only seek someone if your relationship is bad. You should also seek someone if your relationship is good, also. So Tish is very good. Tish is very good at hiding the reality of things, which explains some of the delusion that we see in her at times. And it also explains some of the narcissism because she likes for, as we can tell by her relationship with Kimmy, she really likes for everyone to cater to her and her needs. And she doesn't want to give in at all. When she says that she's moving forward, what that means is she's moving forward by herself. She's not moving forward with a compromise in mind. And that's problematic in a relationship to me. And I don't see her continuing to have that character and be in the relationship with Mel that they're trying to be, rebuild. But I digress. The next scene is Martell is at his mother's house. He's trying to get rid of the snakes. She has some, trees and bushes, and in the country here in the South, sometimes that happens. You get snakes if you live around a lake. You get snakes if you have bushes, and someone has to put down some of that powdery stuff that I know we used to have to put down. And so he's going over there. He has snake repellent, and he's getting rid of the snakes for his mom. And so when he's done with that, they go to the front porch and they sit and they talk. And that scene, I really liked that scene with mother and son sitting on the front porch, having a glass of wine and just having some family time and talking because that is her only son. And, you know, they were sitting on the front porch. A lot of times you see people, they'll be on their in the backyard or on their deck or something. But in the South, we sit on the front porch, okay? So he starts to tell her about his communication with Van when he went to Mills to pick up the children. If you recall, Van didn't even want to give Martell a hug when he walked in the door. She was like saving it for later. And it's mainly because she feels like Martell owes her an apology. He put some things on social media about her that just was not true and it came across disrespectful. And so she's holding that in until she can finally have a conversation with him, as we will see in one of the scenes coming up. So, as he's telling his mother about what Van did to him, his mother really seems really antagonistic about Van. She says things like, "Oh, well, people ought to mind their own business." Well, ma'am, you didn't mind your own business. You are the one who, as you recall, last season went over to Mel's house to tell Mel that Martell had a baby. So let's talk about minding your business if we could, please, okay? Because you should have minded your business. It's okay for you, but it's not okay for Mel's mother. Let's be fair, okay? And Mel's mother is doing things in a little more of a sophisticated manner, as we can see coming up. But I digress with that, okay? Um, but while they are talking as well, Marceau accused Van of being disrespectful to him. And I just want to know who is more disrespectful than Marceau? I mean, Martell. Martell is so disrespectful, guys. He is so now that is a prime example also of narcissism. And I believe last year someone said that Martell and Tisha would be good together. Well, they are both narcissists. So I don't think they would be good together, but they do have similar personality types. They expect everyone to cater to them and everyone to come over to their side and to understand their side, but they're not going to respect you. They want to go ahead and do whatever it is that they want to do. And that's what ended Martell's marriage. So I didn't understand why his mother was all in her feelings about that, and why she shouldn't stay in her lane. Okay, so we go next. Marceau's Cigar Lounge. Black. I really like Black. If I'm ever in Huntsville, I'm gonna go to Black. Blaque. And he is meeting with the staff and he's encouraging them, talking about the business. And the cook and Jalen and all of them, he's just letting them know that he wants people to be able to come into the cigar lounge and have a Black experience. His goal for the bar is for people to have a really positive Black experience there. So he and Jalen go because Jalen is managing Black, as we all know. So they go and they have their one-on-one meeting, and he tells Jalen he would like to see more leadership from Jalen. Well, sir, one of the first things that the owner does or the CEO of a company does is they meet with their leaders and they tell them what they expect of them before they move forward. You moved forward with Jalen, but you didn't talk to Jalen about leadership. You didn't give him any sort of leadership training in the restaurant industry because I would assume that the cigar lounge would fall under like the restaurant industry. So you didn't give him any sort of information. And granted, he did just graduate from college. Graduating from college does not always prepare you for leadership in a business or in corporate America. So you missed your mark, Mr. Um, Marceau. Okay. He continues to tell Jalen that Jalen is outgoing, right? But Jalen corrects him and Jalen says, listen, maybe you don't know me like that because I'm outgoing around people I know. I'm not outgoing around people I don't know. So Marceau proceeds and tells him, listen, this is a business. You're going to have to be outgoing around people that you don't know because all kinds of people are going to come in here. And he doesn't want them to feel like they're not welcome, which is also understandable. So in Jalen's confessional, he says Marceau is not good. No, Marceau is not good at teaching. He's good at talking. He said he's not good at teaching. He's good at talking. I kind of get Marceau. I get Marceau a lot more than I get Martell, even though I think that to some degree they are the same male type. But I do understand Marceau. Uh, Marceau is very civil-minded, and but he still likes to do his own dirt and talk his own trash. So I have to digress on that. I think that Jalen, having graduated from college, is a really wonderful young man. Kimmy may have spoiled him a little bit, so it doesn't really give him the understanding of how you sometimes need to branch out and come out of your comfort zone. I think she may have made him too comfortable, and he has stuck with that. And that's what we're getting in that conversation between he and Marceau. But it ends very well because Marceau agrees to help him with some of those leadership and some of the help that he has requested there at the cigar lounge. So Marceau, um, let's see here. Da, 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 da. The next thing I want to go to is okay, I'm sorry. Forgive me. I have lost my place here. Okay. Oh, Martell and Van are meeting at the park, right? And they are talking about the history of the relationship following the divorce. And they're also talking about some of the, uh, you know, misinformation that Martell has put out on social media about Van. Van is Mel's mother. And so Martell says, I don't do well with disrespect. That's what he said to her. Martell does not do well with disrespect, but as I just said, he does well with disrespecting. So he doesn't want to receive the disrespect, he just wants to give it. Okay, remember in his marriage with Mel, he said he thinks that women should just accept the fact that men are going to cheat. So he wants to cheat and have you just accept it. So accept Martell, but there's too many M's in this family. Martell, Marceau, Maurice. I'm just like done with the M's, okay? um, anyway, Martell wants to dish it out. He doesn't want to take it. So Van says that she's not here to blame anyone. She's not here to disrespect anyone. But she goes on and she tells him it's hard to heal when the pain is still being inflicted. I love how Van puts things together. That's true of any of us. And it is hard to heal when the pain is still being inflicted. Martell continues to apologize. He apologizes to Mel, then he calls her a hoe. He apologizes to Mel, then he does something else to her. It's just and that's his character. I don't know if he's angry. I just don't get it. But anyway, she also tells him she never thought that her grandchildren would be forced to live in two different households because he and Mel had done what she thought to be a really good job at really providing for them and providing that one household of unity for her grandchildren. And she starts to cry because it's very sad. She um, she also tells Martell, she says that you have spoken to me in a very disrespectful way, and in a way that Melody has never spoken to your mom. So she's real clear on this. And she lets him know that she forgives him, but she wants everyone to really get into a better place for the children, to get into a good place, at least for the children. At some point, Martell tells her that things are still going on between him and Mel. I do not believe that things are still going on with him and Mel. I think that Martell is struggling to get back into a good financial state. And so things are going on with him. And he's kind of blaming Mel. But Mel is out of that now. She's moved forward. She's enjoying her single life. And I really do believe her. Whenever she said last week that that Martell is begging her to come back to him every other day, I believe that. I believe that. You know, he didn't want to let everyone know that because it was being aired. And you can tell when he gets embarrassed about things that are being aired on the show that he didn't expect because he's like, what are you doing? You know, he's like, what are you doing? Well, it's a reality show, Martell. And so get used to it. He says that he loves family, and that he says that he did try to protect Mel. The lies, the lies, the lies. How did you try to protect Mel? You hurt her every step of the way. I digress. We know that history. Uh, Martell, I think that for Martell, guys, I just want to say he needs to make some intentional changes in his life. Some of the things, when you're going through the process of trying to change and become better, you have to make sure that it's intentional, that it's just simply intentional. You have to forget about whatever it is that you're needing in order to give someone else what it is that they need. He needs to take responsibility because he keeps saying that he wanted his marriage to be better, yet he wanted to cheat. So that's not wanting your marriage to be better. It would have been better had you intentionally not cheated, meaning when you think of cheating, you just don't do it. Okay, intentionally don't do it. So I digress on that. Okay, so no, the most important point in their meeting was when Van told him that he got comfortable with the situation. So she told him that he cannot continue to call that situation a mistake because he had made a conscious decision to continue in that direction. So I like Van. I love how she brings things together. I really like her. Um, so anyway, the next thing we have here is they go to Lewis and Tiffany's house. Their last name is Whitlow. Lewis and Tiffany Whitlow. So um, you guys get down in the chat and talk about Love and Marriage Huntsville. Um, tell me what you think about the show last night. And even if you want to come on here into the city of Charlotte, that's the city of Charlotte in the background, guys. Okay. And and my green screen is not big enough, so it's kind of like a mess. I'll have to do it better next time. But anyway, Lewis, I want to give you some information and some background about Lewis. Lewis Whitlow is the vice president of a development company in Alabama. Okay, he went to A&M, Alabama A&M University, and he pledged Kappa Alpha Psi. He's not only the vice president of a development company, and I'm not going to give the name of the company. If they want to say it on the show, they can, but I don't want to be doxing people. Okay, so he um, he also coaches softball, and he's a coach in the area as well. Tiffany is as we know from the show, she did something with the Chamber of Commerce, and that's how she and Mel met. And Tiffany, in order to get involved with the Chamber of Commerce, you have to already be a well-known business person in that county or in the area where that chamber represents. So whenever you read about her, before last night anyway, when you read about Tiffany, everything that I read about her in the AL, which is the AL.com, which is the Alabama paper, and also some Madison paper or something like that in Alabama that they have, and other things, right? She is very reputable. She's very reputable. She is known a well-renowned businesswoman in actually the state of Alabama, they said. So in the state of Alabama, she's good. I was trying to see if she pledged any sororities, especially since her current husband is a Kappa Alpha Psi and went to Alabama A&M. I was looking for that. I didn't see any, although she may still be. Quite frankly, she looks like an AKA, but she could be a Delta. Okay. um, so at any rate, her and Lewis, they got married, I think last year. He didn't know he was getting married, you guys. He had proposed to her, but she planned a surprise wedding for him on the baseball field. And she said she planned it there because he loves baseball. But the Madison paper in Alabama says that she planned a surprise wedding, invited guests, and he came to the field. And that's when she was on the screen somewhere asking him a bunch of questions, and she said, "Why not just do it now?" And they got married. Okay. Can you imagine someone just surprise doing us? It was a surprise wedding. It wasn't even, I digress. So that's what Kimmy meant in the end last night whenever she said everybody had heard about how the wedding went with her, with Lewis and Tiffany. So they have two sons. Lemire is 15, that's Lewis's son, and David is 14, that's Tiffany's son. And they do look alike. They could be brothers. It's amazing. They favor. So they're talking about, Mel has invited Tiffany to the birthday party, and she's talking to him about that. And he's saying, "Oh, I know you love to do that. You love to dress up." Well, what woman doesn't love to get dressed up and go to a good party? I love getting dressed up, putting on perfume and all of that stuff as well, going to a good party. And so he tells her, "Make sure you let me see what you're wearing before you go out." So, that was the gist of their conversation. So they get ready. They arrive at the party. Okay, and I'm sorry. The next scene is Tisha arrives in Houston. She pulls up in Houston and she goes in to the hotel. They are at a cigar event. And did you guys notice that Tommy from what's the show, the other show that comes on OWN? I did a review of that show as well, and now I cannot even remember it. But Tommy from the Steve Harvey Morning Show is at the cigar event that is in Houston. So I thought that was really cool to have him there. But guess who else is at this cigar event? Kyra. Kyra was also on the show. I cannot remember. Oh my gosh. It's a show where they bring together Black couples, and I cannot remember the title of the show. And I just did a review on it, but I digress with that as well. But Tisha arrives before Marsau because Marsau is back in Huntsville handling business. And as we can see on the phone, something has gone awry with that. I think that what happened was the labels for the liquor bottles were wrong. They put the wrong label on the bottles that he has for Black, and so he was really perturbed about that, to say the least. And as one of my other YouTube colleagues says on her show, it's Miss Misha. She is so funny. She always says, it's one thing about Tisha's family. They gonna mispronounce a word. And what do we have here? When Tisha is talking to Marcel on the phone, and she says to him, he's upset about the labels on the bottle, and she says to him, "I want to make sure we have some romance while you're here. I want to make sure we have some romance time while you're here." Romance, Romince. That's how she pronounced it. Tisha, it's romance, Romance. just for the record. Okay. So now we come to the ending. Of course, the ending is the birthday party. They all go into the place. I always try to get the names of the lounges or the restaurants that they go in, and I write them down, and I normally like to give them to you. Uh, okay, I'm pausing here because Zer is saying something. Zer is trying to hang in here with me. Thank you, Zer, for hanging in here with me. You saw an interview where Carlos King invited the cast members of the shows to the Black event. Oh, okay. So that's why Kyra was there. Okay. Kyra is sneaky, you guys. She's an attorney, but I think when it comes to her personal romance or personal romantic life, she's very sneaky. Hi, Tricker YT. why why are you a Tricker YouTuber? Because I don't like that name. I digress. Anyway, you guys excuse my background. I'm trying to do green screen, and my green screen it needs to be pulled up, and my husband is not here to pull it up, so I have to wait for him to get back to lift it up. It's supposed to be taller, so it shows I'm in front of the city of Charlotte. You guys, isn't it beautiful? Look at Charlotte. It's so gorgeous. But let me move forward. Get to this party event, right? Okay, so they are at Destiny's birthday brunch. They're socializing. Mel walks in, and I think that's Destiny's sister, the other young lady that walks in. Um, and who else walks in? Um, Mel, Destiny, and Destiny's sister. Yeah, those are the three people that are standing there. And Destiny and Mel are almost dressed alike, and they give each other, the pop, 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 the snap, three snaps and a pop, saying, "Hey, you look good." And then Mel makes the comment, "Yeah, girl, I don't know what they were thinking," talking about their husbands because they are both, get divorced right now. So they're like, "I don't know what they were thinking because look at us." And that is very true. Look at you all and look at them, honey. Especially Mel. I love Mel. I think that Mel could hold a candle to any woman in Hollywood. I really do. She's I think she's beautiful. She has a great body. She's got those little bow legs going on. And I'm team Mel all day, you guys. Okay, you like my view? This is Charlotte. It's beautiful, right? So they're at the party, and the day before the brunch, whenever they're all sitting at the table, they all go sit down, they get their drinks, and they're hugging each other, fellowshipping, greeting each other, and it's an all girls party. Some of these people who come in are actually Destiny's friends, and I do notice that they sit her real friends at a different table. I digress, but you know how they do, right? And they have her sister, if I'm facing the TV, they have her sister to her left side, and Mel is to her right, and Destiny's kind of in the middle. So they sit at the table, they start socializing, and Destiny tells Mel that yesterday was a bad day for her. And then they transition to the confessional room where Mel says, she's trying to determine whether or not, and I'm paraphrasing, she's trying to determine whether or not Destiny is really sees her as a friend, because every time she's having a bad day, she doesn't call her. She doesn't, in other words, she doesn't keep her abreast of things that are going on in her life the way that friends do. Girl, my friends get tired of me. I have to take a break from my friends because of me, not because of them. Because I that's so true. Whenever you are having a bad day, you may call your sister, you may call a friend, you may call a church member, and have someone to talk to about that. And so Destiny didn't tell Mel about her divorce, and she didn't talk to her about a bad day. So, Mel's questioning that. Kimmy walks in, and she has on this striped jumpsuit, which looks very refreshing. It looks like it's a nice sunny day there, and they all wanted to wear their bright colors. And so she sits down at the table, and Destiny tells her that she's divorced, and Kimmy is even shocked. And Liberic is friends with, those guys. I thought that at least Maurice and Martell and Marceau would have known about the divorce because they all seem to be close to him. I mean, they call him LB. His name is Liberic, but they call him LB. But Kimmy was she was shocked to tears. You could see she wanted to cry. That's a sad thing to hear. And at one point, Destiny tells her, don't make me cry. So when Destiny does that, you guys, that lets me know. Remember last in the first episode of this season, she told Melody that the day of her divorce was like sunshine to her. But then when you look at her last night and she was about to cry, you wonder how real she is being about her feelings, or if she was just trying to fake it because she didn't want people to know how sad she was. But that was really sad for me. I mean, they dated for a number of years. First of all, they dated for a number of years, and then they got pregnant, had a baby, and they got married, and then they got divorced. It was like all in the course of a 2-year period of time. So what could have happened? Okay, because you were together. I think I want to say like a few years they were together as a couple. So what could have happened in that small time that you were married that you couldn't put up with in the time that you were in the relationship? It just didn't make sense to me. And I'm sad for her. I'm sad because I know she loves him. As women, we love hard, you guys. Do you guys love hard? I know I do. But anyway, um, so she tells Kimmy about the divorce. Um, she Kimmy tells Destiny uh to be strong, and I Destiny's sister, who is sitting to her left, the camera keeps, panning in on her from time to time. And then I Tiffany walks in. And if you notice when Tiffany walks in, and this must have been production, because when Tiffany walks in, you no longer see Destiny's sister in that seat because Tiffany is now in that seat. So production must have asked um, that young lady, who I'm thinking might be Destiny's sister because they looked alike, or cousin or something. But she's no longer in that seat. She's in at a different table actually, and now Tiffany is in that seat. So the you know I'm kind of waiting on the breakdown um of the history between Tiffany and Kimmy. I'm thinking that that may come up in other episodes, succeeding episodes, because when Tiffany walked in, kimmy Kimmy's expression changed. When the cameras went in on her, it didn't zoom in on her because it was kind of spanning the room, but you could see her expression changed. And then we learned that they know each other from some school or something. And for some odd reason, just out of the blue, Tiffany brings up the fact that Monster is vaping in the bathroom at school. Uh, Where they do that at? What happened again? It's like, hello, huh? What were we talking about? I was just like, okay, that let me know right then that she is trouble. She came to start some trouble, okay? Also, Kimmy is concerned because she goes, "Listen, you have the audacity to bring this up about a child and at the table in front of people that don't even know him." And she hasn't even had the opportunity to hear it from Maurice, if Maurice even knows, right? So Kimmy really was that lets you know that Kimmy has really developed a closeness to Monster as well, for her to have been offended by that. Because had she not developed that familial type of closeness, she would not have been as offended. She almost took the stand of a mother whenever Tiffany said that about Monster, because short of going across the table, I can't imagine what would have happened if she had said that about Jalen. Um, I digress on that. So they are all now talking about the schools that they went to, and that's when we learned that a lot of them know each other because they all went to Alabama A&M. And so Tiffany also at the table as they're talking, and Mel, introduces her to Destiny at some point. And at first she says she doesn't recall Destiny. And then towards the end Suddenly she's like, "Oh, I remember. You were at the party. And remember I walked up to you and I told you that I liked your dress uh, that night because LeBaric he got an award, and I told you I liked your dress, and you were like, that wasn't me. You're at the girl's birthday party, Tiffany. Could you not have waited at least another day? Just one more day. Okay? Why do this at her birthday party? And you can tell that Mel might have invited Tiffany there for, to start something, but she didn't invite her there for that. Tiffany may have said to Mel, "Listen, I know her. I know some things, right?" And Mel may have taken that in, not expecting it to be brought up at the birthday party. Destiny is overtaken by this news because, and this lets me know even more that she is more hurt about her divorce than she was letting on in the beginning, you guys. She can't even take it. She gets up and she goes to the bathroom. So LeBaric is a dog. Let me just go ahead and put it out there. I thought LeBaric was all about positivity, unity, bringing people together. He was always giving those pep talks to Martell, Marceau, and Maurice, and they all even talked about how they looked up to him, and yet he's doing this to his wife, the mother of his child. The woman can probably barely even function. I know women who have gone through divorces and they end up in the bed, I mean, for a year. I mean, I really know people like that, or one person anyway. So, and she seems to really be taking this hard. So let's see what you guys are saying here. My opinion, not yours. Miss Breeze, I appreciate your kind, wise, and elegance. I felt it in my heart to say that. I can't place it, but you remind me of someone. I love your content. And thank you very much. My opinion, not yours. And Zer, you said you love the original cast members that they all graduated from HBCUs. I know, I love that too, Zer, because that speaks volumes, and they're on OWN, and it really gives other people who are watching the show something to look up to and something to aspire to be. You guys, I grew up in a time in the 80s whenever people were watching the Cosbys. Now, put everything that you have heard about Bill Cosby aside, because in the 80s, we totally and wholeheartedly respected him. So, whenever you did not see Black American doctors and lawyers until after the Cosbys. After the Cosbys, you saw them, and now it has just proceeded even through today's standards. You will have a doctor and an attorney married in the same household. Before that show, we did not see that, and I was in college at that time when the Cosbys were airing in the 80s. So people television affects people, and that's why the directors, they know it affects us. That's why they put drugs and people, black people smoking marijuana all day in the bed on, like that Friday's movie. And I know a lot of people like Friday. A lot of people like, what's his name, Ice T, or whatever his name is it Ice T who's in that movie? I cannot recall who's in that movie, but a lot of people like that movie. I understand, but those movies do are not the only movies that depict who we are. So this show is really good for other Black children who are in high school and who are in college to see that you can build houses, you can build whole communities, you can be a developer. You can do that on your own. And I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I'm going to continue to watch it. And I love the drama it brings. I love the scenery. And, you know, but that's it. That's how it ends. As we move forward, we will see that Tiffany is going to be the huge troublemaker. It's like a good transition because Mel and Tish are getting back together. And now Tiffany is coming in and she's going to have it out. And I didn't like her confessional talking about Destiny saying, oh, she should just get over it. No, Tiffany, don't do that to women, okay? You're a well renowned woman in the Black community in Alabama. Don't do that to Destiny. But that's it for me, you guys. Thank you so much for your comments. Before you go, if you could click like, subscribe, and the notifications bell, make sure you're getting my notifications. And also, we will see you in the next one, and many blessings to you, okay?